Hey guys, welcome back to the Dialed In Podcast. This is the low equity edition. Today we're joined again by Mike Stitz and KTB up in the DFW market. As always, we're sponsored by RocketBotLeads.ai. Again, they provide us with really, really high quality, low equity data the first day of the listing, so you don't have to wait until the data aggregators aggregate all the data and then send that out to everybody. It's sort of our way of getting to the leads first, which is kind of cool. Let's start with KTB since you're new. KTB, tell us a little bit about yourself, and if you want people to work with you, how can they work with you?
Yes, most definitely appreciate that. Hello, everybody. KTB from DFW area. Most definitely, I'm a wholesaler out of the Mesquite and Dallas area. My number is 214-282-5251. Most definitely a connector. DTA, DTS, which is direct to agent, direct to seller, cold calling, text messaging, marketing, but most definitely 214-282-5251 is how you can reach me. I'm available. Let's work together.
And in my experience, KTB, we've hung out a couple of times. You are probably one of the most energetic people I've been around. You're a fun hang. So if you guys do get an opportunity to hang out with KTB, definitely take advantage of that. Mike Stitz, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you located and how can people work with you?
Hello, once again. Just like Mike said, my name is Mike Stitz. I'm in Central Florida. I am currently trying to work with some wholesalers, so I'm looking to purchase properties. I am looking into doing some co-living and pad split. I also am looking for PMLs and PMPs to work on those deals with me. I've been in sub 2 for a couple of years and always looking to better my skills. So I'm happy to be here. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah. Thank you for attending. Andrew just got here too. So let's bring Andrew on in. Andrew, I saw that you were experiencing some technical issues for a little bit. Thanks so much for popping in and trying again.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Really, really well. I gave everyone the kind of rundown on what we're up to, which I'll give to you here in a second. But while we have you here, tell us where you're from and how people can work with you.
That's great. So I'm in Jacksonville, Florida, and my phone number is 850-284-5808. And I've been in sub 2 for a couple of years and kind of, in and out, right? So my goal here now is to really crank it up, get going, work with like-minded people, do some sub 2 deals. I've got some experience. I've done some sub 2s, some wholesale deals, some rehabs. I just finished a rehab over here in Jacksonville. But I love working with other people, and I love to JV. And I'd like to expand my market and get out of Jacksonville and get into some virtual stuff, some different markets. So looking forward to working with you guys.
Well, thanks so much for popping on. If you guys, I'm kind of curious if you guys, what's really interesting, by the way, I'm just noticing this, is 2 days ago when we did this session, it was all men. Yesterday, it was all women. Today, it's all men. So I think we're like rotating. It's like the school lunches in 4th grade. It's just all boys, all girls. If you guys were looking for one thing in your business to help you guys grow, and hopefully there are people watching this who can help you guys with that, what is that one thing, Mike, for you that you need to take your business to the next level right now?
I would probably say some raising funds for doing those pad splits. That's probably the first thing that I could probably use.
Okay, cool. KTB, what about you? What's the one thing in your business that you need to grow your business?
Just grow my network. Most definitely private money lenders, private money partners, most definitely private money partners, because I'm willing to do the leg. Most definitely put out there and do the leg work for them. So private money partners, private money lenders, and most definitely JV with as many people as I can possibly work with.
Yep. Andrew, when you were talking, you kind of inspired me to ask this question. So I think we have an idea, but just for clarification, what is that one thing or maybe two things that you're looking for in your business right now?
Right. So for me, it's consistent lead flow, right? So when I take the lead, I look at the numbers, and that, for me, that determines my exit strategy. Am I going to wholesale this deal? Is it a low equity deal? What do the numbers say? I call the lead sheet a report card, right? So, but I'm really struggling to get leads, and I'm a one-man show. I let my VAs go. I had a couple of VAs because I was paying them, but I wasn't getting any results. So I want to get in here. I want to do it myself. And I'm willing to do whatever it takes, roll my sleeves up, but I need consistent lead flow. And I want JV partners. I love to work with other people, and I also love to help others. So I'm looking, those are the two things for me, consistent lead flow and JV partners.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Isn't hiring VAs incredibly expensive sometimes when you have to buy data, you have to monitor them, you have to manage them? It can be a major pain, huh?
It is a anchor. For me, it was an anchor, dude. I was just dragging me down, and I said I didn't have the patience for it anymore, and I just cut it and said, roll my sleeves up, do this myself. Let's get this thing going. There's a lot of opportunity. I see a lot of things happening in the market for us, right, guys? And I think I want to get a piece of that pie. I want to help others get a piece of that pie. The market's changed a lot here in Florida, and it's go time. What it is go time.
Well, the important thing that I always bring myself back to is that the people who are doing this business, especially the creative side of the business, if you have experience and credibility, knowledge, either you know how to do the deals like Andrew, it sounds like you do, or maybe you just know people who know how to do the business, that is an asset that we can bring to the table. What I'm seeing a lot of, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys, is that there are a lot of people who are trying to do this business and they're not doing it in the way that we would do it as ethical, moral types of investors. And so I always love to lead with how can we do this in a way that's best protective of the seller and also the agent as well, right? How can we best communicate to the agent how we do these things in a way that is safest, just put it that way, right? Not 100% safe, but the safest way to do it. So Andrew, I'll kind of give you the brief little rundown of how this all works. First of all, did you receive the list that I sent over to you?
I was looking for that, Mike, and I cannot find the list. I think you said you emailed it, and I checked. The email that I have on file with Sub2 is drew@jacksurban.com. But I don't see the list anywhere.
Okay. Let me send you over a list right now. What's the best email address for you?
So it's Drew, DREW, @Jax, JAX, Urban, URBAN.com.
.com. Got it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm going to send you a list in about a minute or so. While I'm doing this, this list, by the way, Andrew, and I told the guys before you hopped on, but it's also good to tell the audience too here as well, is that all of these leads are brand new on market, meaning that they have not hit prop stream, they haven't hit batch. So the masses have not gotten to these leads quite yet. And so the conversations that you're going to have, these are all low equity leads. The way that we define low equity in this situation is 20% or less equity, 6% or less interest rate. So you can kind of pick and choose which leads you're going to want to call, Andrew. I'm going to give you a little bit of a different list than the other guys. But the conversation does change a little bit because it is brand new on market, right? They have not been hammered yet by everyone with an offer, an LOI, with phone calls. This is really relationship driven. So I'm going to shoot that off to you right now. And then what we do is when we start calling, I'm going to pass off to you guys here in a second where you guys are going to start calling. You guys mute the app. When you get on a phone call, unmute so we can listen. And then after your phone call, we will all provide our own feedback and hopefully help everyone improve here. Sound good?
Yep.
Cool. Awesome. Mike and KTB, why don't you guys start calling your list while I am sending Andrew his list?
Okay. Doing today? Good. I was calling about your listing for 5907 Laurel Hall Drive.
Yeah.
Yep. I did see it's a brand new listing, so you probably haven't gotten a whole lot of contact on it yet. Is that correct?
No.
No? Okay. Just to let you know, I am a buyer. I would be looking to purchase this property. And with that, I do use Creative Finance usually to do these types of offers. Are you familiar with those types of offers?
If it's seller financing, it's not.
Okay, no, this one doesn't look like I'd be doing seller financing with your client. No. With this one, usually what we do is we like to mirror wrap their current financing. And what we do is any equity that they do have, we like to put money in their pocket. We cover closing costs and we cover your commission. And we come in unrepresented on our end. We just find that makes it easier for them. We save money on costs. And like I said, put more money in their pocket when we do that. In addition, what we do is we would continue to pay their mortgage that they currently have. And
Seller financing. They need to sell the property. They're not going to take payments, take any type of that's not.
okay, I understand.
I get the calls daily, probably 5 a day on every single listing I have. And it's just, you guys, I understand from your point of view, but from the seller's point of view, they're selling their house for a reason. They don't want to stay there. So, and they're not going to let somebody take over their mortgage payment and continue to live there. So it's either a straightforward offer, finance or cash, or they are not interested.
Okay, yeah, I can completely understand that. Yeah, I won't try to convince you or your client. It doesn't look like it'll definitely work in this situation currently right now. But if you have any questions regarding it, I'd love to be a tool in your toolbox just for you. If you have any questions, me and my partners have been doing this for a few years. We find it is beneficial for some people, and just want to see if I could help you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much, Darren. You have a good day.
Isn't it funny how we talk about, hey, these leads you're not gonna hear the, hey, pound sand, if this is a seller finance or creative, and then the first call we lead into that. I'm sorry, Mike, because that was punishment for you, but I'm kind of glad that we did, because you handled that really, really well. And I love the fact that you said, look, I just want to be a tool in your toolbox. My concern here is, it sounds to me like she doesn't know exactly what she's even saying no to. Right? Did you guys get that question?
She didn't even hear my offer.
You have 1040 Manor Drive.
KTBs.
Yes,
I was calling. I know we early to the game, and I was trying to see if you have any offers on that property right now.
Not yet, but I have a lot of showings.
A lot of showings. When is the showing?
We have tons of showings.
Okay.
We have agents showing it.
Okay. Well, I'm an investor out of Texas, but looking to move into the area down there for some more investment properties. And I was to be one of the people that put an offer in. And but what we looking for is a different technique that we using for as taking over the payments. Are they offering? We can get them exactly what they need and price that they're looking for. Would they be open to anything like that?
To taking over their financing? No.
No. What are they looking for?
No, they're looking to sell the property at the list price there.
As a list price? Okay. I may be a little bit too early. I was trying to see. You say y'all have listings every day? I mean, showings every day?
No, we have agents showing their. I'm not showing it.
Oh, okay. You the broker?
Correct.
Okay. Well, sorry about that. I appreciate you taking my call. I'm most definitely trying to get some more information on it to see the price structure and how we can come in and help.
Okay, sounds good. Send me your email address and we'll get you the information over there.
Okay. I do appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Okay, 2 in a row. Fun, right? Fun way to start the day off. So Let's break this down a little bit. Mike, KTB, Andrew. By the way, Andrew, do you like to go by Andrew or Drew?
My friends call me Drew. I've got Andrew in there because it's, when I did my Facebook profile, it's your life. Call me Drew, please.
Okay, cool. Well, I love being considered a friend of yours. Thank you. Okay, so KTB, Mike, those calls were challenging, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So KTB, let's go to you just because it's fresh for a sec. What was how did you feel about that phone call, that agent, maybe your response to it? Talk to us about it.
I feel like it was all me from the beginning. I was stumbling over my words from the start. I didn't have no direct approach, no technique of going into the call. And then once I found out she was the broker, I really had nowhere else to go. Just stalled and stuck and just was trying to basically just keep talking to keep from being quiet. I'm most definitely going to email her and get a second chance at talking to her because maybe she got some more properties or something once I get the lingo down and be able to talk a little bit more fluent.
So Mike and Drew, what do you guys think about KTB's call? What could he have done differently?
The one thing, and I understand trying to go in there and then being surprised that she wasn't the agent, she was a broker. The one thing, of course, this is after the fact. The one thing that I would have considered at that point is like, oh, fantastic. I haven't had a chance to speak with a broker yet. How many creative offers have you guys actually closed on? And do you have any agents that actually are really familiar with doing these types of mirror wraps or subject twos? And just kind of see what the response is.
Drew, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I like it. And for me, what helps me is I have not a script, but I have bullet points to guide me. And I hit those bullet points, right? For example, hey, I'm calling about such and such. I'm looking to pick up some more rental properties, confirm the info. The pics look good. Are they new? Because a lot of times pics are really old. So I just like to, it's conversation, right? It's rapport. How soon do they want to sell? In this case here, this is a little different for me. Because I call direct to agent. I don't really like it. And that's part of the reason I'm on this call, to get better. Because I know, Mike, you did, I followed you for a while in Sub 2. You did this semester series. Mm-hmm. And I was part of that for a little bit. I didn't finish it. But I was part of it. And so I know that you this is what you do. And you're really good at it, right? You had a really good team with you.
It's what I do. I don't know if I'm good at it, but it's what I do.
Yeah, you're good at it, man. So so bullet points really help me because they help me stay on track, right? And hit it and just go right down the line. So those things are very helpful to me. And and I let them know I'm interested in putting in an offer. I'm trying to figure out how the best way to approach this so it's a win-win situation. Typically, we do DSCR loans, but right now those are challenging because of the interest rate. So we have to be a little creative. So this is what an offer would look like for you. I don't mention I don't like the words like creative finance. Because a lot of people, a lot of these agents, they don't know what that is. So when they don't know what that is, what happens? We get recluse, right? We close up. We just shut it down because we're talking about something that they have no idea what it is. So that's just for me, though. Everyone's different, right? We all have our level of comfort and what we like to say, right? So what works for you? But that's for me. I don't like those words that people don't understand. I'd rather say, and you take payments for a short period of time, or a long period of time until we could get you fully cashed out. Right. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'd rather say it that way. And then, what do you mean? Right. And then you kind of go to the next level with it. Right. Because, It's curious, kind of piques the curiosity. But guys, these things are for me. Everyone's a little bit different, right? I'm just sharing with you what I'm comfortable with. So,
Right.
and
I appreciate
and
that.
the other thing the other thing for me is like these are brand new leads, so it's a little very awkward for me, right? Because I'll typically be calling 90 days on the market, 60 days on the market, 45 days on the market, reduced by 10 grand. I'm jumping on that lead, right? It's still sitting there. So this is a little awkward for me because these people, they don't have any, or this brand new, like Mike was saying earlier, it's brand new, and it's like, okay. So,
Right.
but I'll navigate through it as best as I can, but it is a little awkward for me. Yeah. But,
So, there are pros and cons to the types of data that you call, right? If you're calling 60 days or 90 days on market, the pros are that there's inherent pain, right? From the seller, or for the sellers and for the agents. It's taken them that long to move this property. And from a seller's perspective, especially if there's, let's say hypothetically that they're struggling to make payments. I know that's kind of like another potential situation, or it's part of this potential situation. But the more that they have to stay and pay towards their mortgage, that's pain, right? Imagine showing the house 30 times and not selling your house, how annoying it is every single time that you leave that house. You're optimistic the first 5, right? Oh, I hope these are the buyers. I hope these are the buyers. After 7, you're like, geez, I just put away my underwear and put the kids' toys in the closet again, and no one's making offers. So there's that kind of pain, right? So that's kind of a pro for us to come in and say, look, here's a solution, guys. I know that you've probably been presented a lot of times by somebody like me who's presenting something similar. However, let me explain to you how it could work. My approach with the brand new on market leads is that I say many, many times, I'm sure, Mike, you've heard me say this. I'll say something to the effect of, look, if I were the seller, I probably wouldn't even consider something like this at this point in the listing. You guys are brand new on market. I'm sure you're hoping for an over ask offer, and you're hoping to sell this thing as quickly as possible. Where we potentially add value is if, for example, 30 days down the line, you guys are not getting the offers that you're hoping for, and maybe you're worried about reducing the price to increase offers or showings. That's where we might be able to come in, and instead of you guys reducing on a dollar for dollar basis the cash out of close to the seller, we can come in and potentially pay you guys exactly what the purchase price is effectively. And also at the same time, let me show you how we can protect the seller in this type of a transaction. And I remove myself completely from this lead at this point, meaning that I'm just going to do my spiel. I'm going to have a couple more phone calls before everyone else gets this lead. And then I'm just going to follow up. I want to be the resource and prove to them that I'm the person that they should be working with if they do decide to go down this road of creative, whatever that means. Drew, you said something really interesting. I also don't love to use the buzzwords. Creative, sub 2, investor. I think all of those things kind of turn people off initially. And so, another thing you mentioned too, which I thought was really on point, was whatever your story is, whatever reason you're calling this agent about is, whether it's because you want to buy a rental property, or you have a partner who's buying a rental property, or maybe you do co-living, right? Kind of come up with your own story to solidify the foundation of why you're making that phone call. But I love when you said, typically we use DSCR loans. And for the people who don't really know what that is, basically all that Drew is saying is he's saying, as an investor, he's not saying these words, right? As an investor, I'm buying properties and it's difficult for me to get financing that makes sense for me because I own multiple properties. So me calling you about potentially taking over the payments is both advantageous for the seller and also for me. Instead of getting a 7.5% rate on a DSCR, for example, I might be able to get a 3.5% rate taking over payments. And so that's the difference. That's kind of the value add for us, but it's also a great way to explain it to the agents as well. And, in both of those situations, Mike and KTB, it sounded to me like those agents said no because they don't understand.
Yep.
KTB,
100%.
your agent was like, "Oh, you're going to take over the payments, and they're still going to live there." No.
Right.
No, that's maybe you got half of it right, but not the other half. And so, what I would always ask in both your situations, Mike and KTB, is why doesn't that make sense for the seller, right? Get out exactly what the agent's thinking, or something like, it sounds like I wouldn't say this because that's kind of contentious, but I would say, have you ever done a transaction like this before? And just kind of see where that goes.
Yeah, I like to put them on the spot, kind of at that point, just like, okay, you're
Totally.
at this point, you're not listening to me, and you don't really want to hear. Let me just ask you a question, see if you can explain.
Yep, that's exactly right. So I hope that we got the tough calls out of the way for today.
I think I'm ready.
Those are 2 tough calls. Let's hop back in and make some more phone calls, guys.
All right.
Good job.
Excuse me, Mike. What do I do if I get somebody just thumbs up or something? Okay.
So mute while you're calling, Drew.
Yeah.
And then when you do get on a phone call, unless someone's on another phone call, then just unmute so we can all hear your phone call.
Hello.
Hi, Allie.
Yes.
Hi, Allie. How you doing? My name is Drew, and I'm giving you a call about your property that you have listed on, I believe it's East Lehigh in Denver.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So how are you doing today?
I'm so sorry. I'm completely thrown a little bit because your area code is from Tallahassee, Florida.
Yes, I am calling you from actually Jacksonville, Florida is where I live. And I used to live in Tallahassee for about 8 years. And I didn't want to change my phone number because you know how that is. People have your number and you don't want to, you want to be able to, for them to get a hold of you.
Yes, sir. Well, I'm from Tallahassee. That's why I was a little hesitant when I answered the phone. I was like, who's calling me from back home? So I apologize. Yes,
my
sir.
gosh.
How can I help you?
That's amazing. That's amazing. You want to hear something funny? I used to live in Colorado. Honest. I lived in Colorado Springs, and I lived in Arvada, Colorado, right outside of Denver. So I lived there for about 5 years.
Okay, well, small world. Well, how can I help you? Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
so I wanted to give you a call. So I'm looking to pick up a couple of rental properties. And I wanted to just kind of, I know you just listed this property, right? Did it just come on the market?
Tomorrow, actually. We're still officially coming soon.
Okay, great. So I wanted to just reach out to you quickly and just kind of put my name in the hat for a possible offer. And I wanted to just confirm the information with you a little bit. I see what it is right here. I don't see any pictures yet, but those are probably coming soon as well.
Picture should be up. Let me double check that, but I believe everything should be up and running.
Okay. And are they brand new pictures?
Well, I took them last fall, and then we did some work on the property. Let me double check, but I mean, yes, sir, they're within this couple months.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. So, Ali, let me ask you, your sellers, are they when are they looking to sell right away? Or,
Yes, sir. I have 43 photos at least on my end that are up and available.
Okay, great. I think had a wrong. I think I was looking at the wrong thing, Ellie. I apologize, but I
Not
think
a problem.
I
I
have.
just want to double check myself.
Yeah, it's a nice house. It's a cute little house.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What where are they selling, if you don't mind me asking?
No, no problem. Mother is having some health issues, and so they are moving out to help, or actually have moved out and have moved in with mother.
Oh, I went down that road myself. I only reversed, right? It was for my mom had health issues, so we had to move her into our house with us. So it's kind of reversed, but I certainly understand, the situation, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I wish them all the luck. So they get what they need, and they could take care of each other. So obviously you don't have any offers yet that are coming in because it hadn't really hit the market yet, right?
Correct. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I'm interested in this home. This is a really nice little home. It's a perfect rental property for my portfolio, Allie. Sue, 1,400 square feet, and it's ideal. And I'm familiar code as well, so it's a nice little area.
Yes, sir.
So Allie, let me share this with you for the sake of your time, my time. I know you're just hitting the market, so typically, I buy homes. I'm a landlord. I'm a buyer, and typically, with the banks, they'll only give you so many loans, right? So typically, I'll go and get what we call a DSCR loan, which is just a loan for rental properties, basically. That's all it really is, and it helps you get more rental properties instead of going and getting like a traditional loan from the bank, right? Mm-hmm. It enables you to do that. But with the interest rates that are high, it's a little bit of a struggle for us lately because our properties have to cash flow, right? Because they're rental properties. So we have to get a little creative. So, and I just want to share this with you for right now, but I wouldn't even entertain this right now because you haven't even hit the market. But what we do is we had a client here in Jacksonville, Florida, where I live. And what we did is we went in there and we took over the payments on their property, and we for about 18 to 24 months. And what we ended up doing is cashing them out, right? And I think we did it in like 14 months. But it relieves the pain of the payment. I don't know if there's a mortgage on this property or not, but if they're making two payments, it becomes a little bit of, there's some pain there, so it relieved them of that pain of making two payments. And then they also, they didn't have to reduce their property, right? Because it instead of sitting, we gave them their full asking price. And most importantly, we paid the agent their full commission at closing up front, not when we cashed them out, but right when we closed on the house up front. So you get paid, the seller gets relief of the pain, and they have a purchase agreement right in place, and the house is sold. And then down the road, we cashed them out. So that's kind of how we're doing it now. And we did that for that couple. So maybe down the road I could follow up with you, and I hope you sell it like right away. It's a cute little house. I really do. But if that were okay, it's a good solution to a challenge sometimes. So when they're trying to sell their home, it's a really good solution for a lot of people. It doesn't work for everyone, but it does work for a lot of people. So. How does that sound?
Yes, sir. Give me a couple weeks to see how we do. And if you don't mind, just text me your information and I'll go ahead and put it in my phone and I will speak to her about it, just so she has that kind of in the back of her head in case she if it doesn't go as quickly as we're hoping, or if we're getting kind of like those lowball offers, maybe that is a direction that she would potentially want to come. But just so I typically don't deal with investors, so just so I understand this payment process, let's just say this works out, we quote unquote, like when would that quote unquote closing be?
Well, we can actually close inside of 30 days.
Okay.
No. So yeah, we can do it pretty quickly. Like once the title's clear, and when we do this out, and you seem very experienced. I mean, you understand what you just said to me. Tells me you're on the ball and you understand what's going on. So I wanted to compliment you on that, because a lot of times that's not the case when I speak to people. So, yeah, we could close inside of 30 days. We use title. Everyone's protected. Everything's recorded. So it's all done transparently.
And then who chooses title? Do we still get to choose our title company out here?
I believe so, right? We have, I have a title, a transaction coordinator that makes sure all the papers and documents are in place. And then, the title company, your title company, if, could close the transaction, as long as they know how to close the transaction.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And then just to clarify, so seller does not pay my compensation. You would pay my compensation.
That's exactly right, Allie. And you would get that when we close on the front end, right? So in other words, you're not waiting 14 months to get your money. You get your money up front.
And then to clarify, you essentially take over the payment itself. So when does she essentially kind of get the net proceeds, if you will?
Right. So, depending on how much equity the seller has in the property, because we try to give the seller money up front as well. And depending on, it just depends on the numbers, right? So, so basically, there's a couple of different ways to work it. If it's a very large amount of equity, a lot of times we'll do like what we call, we'll pay the seller separately outside of the mortgage. We'll make payments to the seller, like if they have a large amount of equity. If they have a small amount of equity, we try to give that to them, depending on how much that is. That makes sense?
Okay, so let's just use easy numbers. So roughly $25,000 in equity, you would give her $25,000 once we quote unquote close. You essentially take over those mortgage payments for the next 18 months. And then after 18 months, what happens?
Then she's fully cashed out. And out.
Okay.
Yeah. So
the mortgage is still underneath her name though.
Correct.
Okay, you have title, mortgage is underneath her name, payments are done but through you.
Correct.
Okay.
And through a third party. We use a mortgage servicing company, so everyone's protected.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you are willing to do that. Okay. All right. I think I've got it. I apologize. I just wanted to make sure that I was clear moving forward to have the information, because again, like I don't normally deal with investors. I just deal flat out, cash or conventional loans, and we're good to go.
Right.
Okay. Perfect. Yes, sir. If you wouldn't mind just texting me your information, give me a couple weeks to see how we do.
Yeah.
I will tell her about this just in case this is something that she just rather not deal with buyers and everything along those lines. If this is something that she would like to go reach out to you.
Yeah, and we could go into more detail, and you are very clear, by the way. You're very clear at everything that I shared with you, and it's refreshing, actually. So I appreciate your time, Allie, and I'm going to text you that when we hang up, okay?
Perfect. Absolutely. Again, I apologize about my little, who is this when I first answered? Because again, the Tallahassee just kind of threw me. So
I get it.
But thank you for the phone call. I greatly appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Allie. Have a great one.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thanks. You as well. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Drew, fantastic job. Fantastic. Let's go around the room here. Mike, you first. Tell me what you thought about Drew's call.
Wow. All I'd say is, wow, that was a fantastic call. And yes, you got a good call. You got a good agent. Who
You got a good agent, guys.
It may have been, of course, that you started rapport with her right away because, the whole phone number thing, Tallahassee and Colorado. So that seemed to work in your favor for sure. But you really knew what you were talking about. You knew how to, I guess, like you said, hit your bullet points. And before she started even asking questions, you kind of answered it for her. So she kind of knew what her or her client could expect with the offer you were going to provide, what you've done in the past. And you seemed like a very confident and experienced individual. So yeah, I would say, 100% great job.
Thank you, Mike. And I did get lucky, guys. I mean, with the phone number, the rapport, and just a nice person, right? Listen, the agents that you guys had, I've had those, a lot of those. Okay.
Yep.
And they're really, you got to have some thick skin, right? Don't we? So I'm glad that we had a good one that we could listen to. And I thank you, Mike. I appreciate your thoughts.
Yeah, Drew, we keep saying that you got lucky. Yeah, maybe a little bit, right? But you also capitalized on having an agent where you had something in common with. And that's the key is some people will forget about, hey, there's something that we have in common here. Let's go down that path a little bit to build that rapport. And, sometimes I kind of make fun of rapport building in the sense that the traditional rapport building is like, I like dogs. Do you like dogs? But, you guys had a lot in common in terms of where you lived, right? And there are ways that you could do that. And you did exactly that. So great job there. KTB, what did you think of Drew's call?
Made me smile because it was very fluent. Like you said, he sounded very knowledgeable. It made me almost stop. It was listening to his a couple of times. Most definitely, you was on point. Like you said, there's most definitely somewhere I thrive to get to because most definitely it was short. It was a short call, and you got straight to the point, and you kept on. I like how you complimented her as well. So they kept feeding that conversation kept going. Most definitely, those were my main two takeaways. Like you build rapport, and like you said, and just keep talking. Basically, to making sure that you get on the same page. You made sure that she understood where you was coming from. Most times where it was no confusion, and that was great.
Thank you, KTB. I appreciate that a lot. And hey, guys, we're all in this together. We can help each other. What do they say, Mike? A rising tide floats all boats. Okay, That's what they say. And that's really what this is. Okay, this is a rising tide. Okay, and I just jumped in the boat, and I'm glad to be here with you guys because I needed to be I'm a one-man show, and it's lonely. It's lonely, guys, okay, trying to be a one-man show. So these are great. And when Mike, thank you, Mike J, for reaching out to me and texting me and say, hey, Drew, we're going to be doing these calls. I'd love you to, make some calls with us. I really appreciate that. So thank you for that. And guys, did you hear the bunny? Did you hear the motivation?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And
I don't know if you guys caught it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
Mike ETB, what was the bunny?
I'm sorry. I actually did miss it.
That's okay. The bunny, the motivation, right? Why are you selling? The kids are sick. They moved in with the mother. This house is empty, and they're paying a mortgage. 2 mortgages.
That's right. Yeah.
That's the pain. That's the bunny.
Yeah.
This is a very strong lead. Yeah.
Yep. This is a really good one.
I got a text her back.
Yeah, don't forget that. That's important, right? Always follow up and say what you're going to do, what you said you were going to do. You found the bunnies. And the way that you found the bunnies, by the way, was asking a question that a lot of people are afraid to ask. Why are they selling? And, sometimes an agent's going to say, look, it's none of your business. And they're right. It's none of our business. But asking the question doesn't necessarily put us down a step below after asking that question, right? It's not like we can continue on or we can't continue on with the conversation after we ask that question. So great job. You asked it very directly. Some people will ask it indirectly, but I think that asking the question is super, super important. One thing that I also noticed on that phone call too is that you kind of took your offer, if you will, completely off the table. You know, you guys are so new. In fact, you guys haven't even come on market yet. You know, maybe sometime down the line, this might make sense. I forget exactly what the wording was, but she circled back and she goes, look, this might actually make sense for them. And so by removing yourself entirely and doing the soft sell, that always shows me that you never have to, or you don't always have to. It kind of depends on your style. But Drew, your style is just like mine in the sense that I'm going to soft sell you. This is how it could work. I'm here for you. Let me show you how it could work. And if you come back running to me, I am happy to accept you with open arms.
Yeah,
Love it.
and it definitely sounded like she already said she was going to keep your information, and she said, "I'll talk to my client, and in a month, we may be back, reaching back out to you."
Yep.
Yeah.
And she also said, unless it makes sense for them and they want to move forward.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Drew, what I would do in this situation, I think that this is, do you mind us spending a few minutes on this? Because I think that this is really important, this part of it. Because the call is one thing, right? And that might be 10% of the effort that you put into this deal. Right. But at this point, what do? We have to follow up with this person, right? This isn't something that we can just send them information. You know, KTB, for example, the agent that you spoke with, she's like, just send me your information and I'll send you something.
Yeah.
That was not a deal, right? You're going to send it to her and that's going to be a waste of your time. But in this
I know I'm going to follow back up with her. Like you said, have a better conversation.
Yep, exactly. And so, Drew, in this situation, you basically have, call it 2 weeks between now and the time that she's going to start to get hammered with phone calls.
Right.
And so what I would do in this situation is have a couple more follow-ups, whether it's phone, email, text, whatever. And I would start to really solidify your relationship with it. So you always want to be the person that she's going to come back to if they do need that solution. Mm-hmm. What I love to do is I love to predict the future for these agents, especially if they haven't gone through this type of transaction before. It sounds like she may have, but I would say, you guys are brand new on market as of tomorrow. In a couple weeks, people are going to identify exactly what I identified just very early on, that this could be a candidate for an investor type of acquisition. And so that's your opportunity to step in and just say, look, people are going to say a lot of different things. They're going to try to convince you to do this, that, whatever. Feel free to use me as a resource. If you guys get an amazing offer that isn't from me, I'm happy to take a look at it and make sure it's legitimate.
I love that. That's awesome. Yeah.
It's those sorts of things that's really going to solidify that relationship.
I love that, Mike. That's great. And we, especially with these types of leads, I mean, the follow-up is absolutely critical, right? Or else, the old cliches never go away for a reason. The fortune's in the follow-up, right? So,
Drew, imagine this follow-up in 2.5 weeks, for example. Imagine if you called her up and you said, I forget what her name was, but let's say her name was Sarah.
Allie. Yeah.
Allie. Okay. So Allie, remember how I told you you're going to start to get a ton of phone calls in about 10 days? How are those calls going for you? And she's been like, oh my gosh, you're so right.
I love that. That's great, Mike. Yeah,
that's predicting strong. The future.
That's strong right there. I love it.
Yep. All right. Good job, guys. We have 15 more minutes. Let's see if we can get on another call or two.
Okay.
Great job.
All righty.
Thank you, guys.
Call from you guys?
Oh, yes. How you?
Baker?
Oh, yes. How you doing? My name is Ken. I was calling. Let me back to it. I'm sorry. I switched to another screen.
You're good.
How your day going?
It is well. I just got took lunch.
Oh, man. What did you eat?
Went out to Monarca, if I'm pronouncing that right, the new Mexican establishment. We're here in Old Town. So I'm fat and happy.
Oh man, that's good. I seem like I called at the perfect time then.
That's right.
All right, I most definitely. So what I was calling about is the house on what is it, 9217?
Yeah, Granitfield.
Yes.
Or Ivy Park, Granitfield Drive. Right.
Yeah, most definitely. I was just calling to touch bases, which I know I'm early to the party, but we was calling to see if we can be a solution and see how we can help out in any kind of way possible. And
no, man. No, I'm good. Yeah, y'all are a little too early to the. You're just a solution based.
No, not necessarily. I just wanted to put my bid in. I got a cash offer, but I also have a longer term offer where we can take over the payments. Is that something that you ever heard before?
Yeah, you were talking about creative financing. No, they just put it on the market. We weren't interested in anything like that right now, but I do appreciate your time. Okay.
Is it any good? Can I follow up with you? Would that be a good thing?
Yeah, if it's not off the market, let's say about 45 days, maybe 60, give me a call.
Okay, well, that's good. I appreciate you taking my call and calling me back. Thanks.
All right, yes, sir. Bye-bye.
Hey guys, let's give KTB some advice here. I think that there are a couple of things here that we can probably note so you can go a little bit further down the line with that conversation.
Okay.
Mike and Drew, let's flush that out a little bit for you, KTB, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Mike, do you have any feedback for KTB on that call?
Okay. I think the fact that you said that you saw that it was just on the market, that's fine to say that. I think, don't want to say that you're too early yet to it. I think maybe still build that rapport with them. Like I saw you got a new lead, a new listing right on the market. I want to ask you a few questions about it and find out what the situation is and see if there's something that I can do that would please you and your client.
Okay.
Drew, any feedback for KTB?
Yeah, just a little bit. Okay, and he was quick, right? He was kind of he started to go fast on you. I would say, try to, like Mike said, try to build that rapport and try to find that motivation, right? Like, what's going on with the house? Do you have any? Well, here I go. I'm going back to my old way of 30 days, 45 days on the market, right? Because it's a habit. And this is very different. So it's kind of hard to say, do you have any offers? I mean, what's the feedback? There is no feedback. The house is, unless he had some offers. I mean, I don't know how long it's been on the market. Like with Allie, it didn't even hit the market. Hadn't even hit the market yet. She said, right? It's going to be tomorrow when it hits the market. So I didn't catch, because I was texting Allie my information. So I didn't catch the part if it was already on the market and there were any offers coming in. But it's, try to find that motivation. I think the motivation is the most important piece of this process, like with what we do in real estate in general, right? Because that kind of starts to uncover a lot of stuff once you pierce that skin and you get that first, well, she moved. Like I could have went on with her, right? And so the motivation is key. So that's what I would say, and I apologize. I didn't catch it all, KTB, because I was.
It wasn't much. The only thing we talked about is his food that he ate for for lunch.
Lunch he finished. The other thing I would mention, KTB, is because we are first one, just be curious and ask him. It's like, I know this is new, on the MLB, for a listing. I want to know, am I the first one to call you about it? Or, how many people have called you about it already? Just be curious about it.
Yeah. So I talk a lot about this. So I'm sorry if you guys have heard this before, but I talk a lot about how you're positioning yourself on the phone call with the agent. And, what is your mission, right? What is the way that you're going to what's the way that you can connect with the agent? They're going to be open to having a conversation with you. And I use this example a lot. Amber Brown in Sub 2, what she does, and she's been on these phone calls before, and we kind of flushed it out for her. She does what she calls the Golden Girls model, meaning she buys a house, typically Sub 2, and she houses older women, older independent women who aren't quite ready yet for assisted living facilities, but they want to live in a community of like-minded women. And so that's a really, really cool mission, right? And so mine, for example, one of mine is I'll call up an agent. I'll say, look, I'm looking for some opportunities in the San Antonio market. What I do is I buy homes, and then typically what I'll do is resell them to people who are struggling to qualify conventionally. What I want to do is provide the opportunity of home ownership to people who traditionally wouldn't have them. And so I'm really trying to think of like, what would a charity's mission statement be to some degree, right? How can I give back to the community? And what I've seen is that anytime that something like that is presented, or most of the time something like that's presented to an agent, they're much more open to having a conversation because they know that you are moving forward in an honorable way. And so, it's one thing to call up, and I'm not saying that you did any of this, by the way, but a lot of people will call up an agent. They'll be like, hey, I'm looking to buy your house Sub 2. Can I take over payments? Right. And so, I think that's definitely jumping the gun in a lot of ways, as opposed to, one of those two previous examples. So KTB, if you don't mind, what's your end goal? Are you planning to wholesale these deals to somebody else?
Well, in the beginning, cash flow right now, so it's definitely I'm gonna be the middleman and wholesaling right now for the short-term goal. Probably 6 months down the line, or until I got capital before I start to buy gold.
Cool. So the way that you can then position yourself in these conversations is, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say, hey, I'm going to wholesale this Sub 2 deal if I get it under contract, right? That's not the best way to go about it. But what you can do is you can lean into, Mike's mission or Drew's mission or Amber Brown's mission and say, look, I have a partner who's looking for this specific thing, and this is what they do. And my job is to connect with agents who do something or who are in the business of possibly helping us out. And, lean into the partnership thing, see how they respond, because I can tell you that they're going to be much more open to having a conversation with you if you lead in initially with, hey, this is what I do, and explain to them how you do it. Not the other way around, but you want to do, this is what I do and this is how I do it. Meaning I do the Golden Girls model. I won't go into that. But then the way that we are typically purchasing is we're coming in at full ask price. We're paying the agent's commission on our side, so the sellers don't have to. We're paying all of the closing costs. The only difference between the way that we purchase and traditional buyers are going to purchase is that we simply take over the payments that are already in place. Have you ever done a transaction like that before? That's it. And then shut up and then see what they say. Because that's going to open up a different line of questioning. And you've also led in with the idea of you are currently giving back to the community in some way. Right? So they're going to be much more open to having a conversation with you than not.
Does
that make sense?
Yeah, most definitely. Because I like the Mike angle for affordable housing, co-living. I love that angle. Most definitely, that's a end goal.
And remember to simplify the terms as much as possible. You use the word co-living. That's what kind of sparked in my brain. On yesterday's phone call, we talked about co-living, but I don't think a lot of people know what co-living is quite yet, right? A lot of people say, hey, I do the pad split model. Everyone's like, well, what the hell is pad split? Because they just don't know it. So really simplify it as much as possible. Think of the person on the other line as someone who has no clue what it is that you're talking about. And there's no harm in, you're not speaking down to them if you lower the level of conversation, right? If you just say, look, what I do is I buy homes and I'm typically putting people in who are living for 3 to 6 months in these homes. They live as a community. We found that X, Y, and Z, that people are, much happier in these types of homes. It fits a certain type of personnel or a certain type of person, whatever that is, really simplify it as much as possible. Do you guys, Mike, Andrew, Kentarian, do you guys have any feedback on that at all?
No, I love it. I'm learning more and more.
I am, my plan is to do the co-living, the pad split. However, I know even last week when I was on the calls with you, you had mentioned the Golden Girls and you explained it to me. I think one of the things that I will use it, one of the first things I'm going to do is ask people, do you remember watching a TV show called Golden Girls? You remember, the ladies who lived in the house together? There always, some type of situation going on with the ladies. I'm trying to recreate that with one of my partners and just see if it sticks.
I love that. What do you guys think about this? I'm just kind of coming up with this in my head. So tell me if I'm on the right track or not. I think that the Golden Girls model makes a whole lot of sense when a woman calls a woman to have that conversation. Like when a female investor calls a female agent, there's that kind of automatic connection. I think it might be a little bit different when a man talks about Golden Girls. What if you did the Golden Boys or something like that?
Well, that? And you bring up a great point. The one thing I would say is like talk about, thinking of my grandmother or my mother. If I say that, everybody has a mother or grandmother usually. So, they can reference that in their head. And I think that would kind of stick. And I wish I had remembered the Golden Girls situation with my first call today, because it was a lady and she kind of was very standoffish right from the get-go with me. I wish I would have used that first.
That's okay. Sometimes we have to kind of get into a rhythm. But I do think that leading with that type of a mission is going to be super helpful. I love the reference to your mom, right? Because everyone feels a special way about their mom. Yeah. Always, right? My mom is a very special person. I'm sure all of your moms are as well. And so, you can lean into that and say, look, you can even give a not a fake example, but, maybe an exaggerated example. My mom is of the age where, she's not quite ready for assisted living, but she does want to be around like-minded women. And so I came up with this type of model that's as simple as it gets,
Yeah.
Hey guys, before we close out, we're 2 minutes away from the top of the hour. Do you guys have anything else that you want to mention? Anything that maybe you've learned today, or anything else that you guys have a platform here for a couple minutes?
I'll just say, I don't know if I gave my phone number out to people in the beginning, but yeah, you can reach me at 267-337-1564. Like I said, I'm looking to work with wholesalers and KTB. If you want to reach out to me, I can definitely look into, if you have any deals, I definitely take a look at them for pad split in certain areas. And I am looking for PMLs and PMPs. And if anybody has any questions about it, I'd love to talk with you about it and see what I can do to help you.
That's great. Thank you, Mike. And Mike and Mike. So I'm going to call you Mike J. Mike J. Is that okay?
Of course, please. Yeah.
It's my first time on this call with you gentlemen, and I'm grateful to be here with you guys. Like I said a few minutes ago, I like being around people, and we work together and help each other. So I think I gave my phone number out earlier. Happy to do it again if someone needs it. But I love to have conversations. So if there's anything that I can do to help anyone, just hit me up, text me, call me. I'm here to help. So, and I'm looking forward to being a part of more of these conversations on this platform with you guys.
Yeah, I am too. All three of you guys are welcome anytime. Please, you said it before, Drew. We need to be doing this as a community. We're not competing against each other at all, right? We're helping each other. So
are you going to continue to do this, Mike?
Monday through Friday.
Okay, great. So can I jump in like more than once? I wasn't sure. Like I went to the calendar and I said, well, maybe I could put myself in for 2 days, something like that, right? Is that okay?
Absolutely. You can book yourself as often as you want. We want more people to contribute. I love having 3 people in here because there's very little lag in between phone calls, right? If we're calling on a list, there's not a whole lot of silence. So I love having at least 3 people on here with me.
Right.
All right, guys.
Beautiful. Yeah.
KTB, great seeing you. You going to go to Squad Up?
I'm not sure this year. I got a lot of things going on. I'm actually in the process of getting this another house right now. Personal wise, I actually just wrapped my other home, and I'm getting another FHA loan this year. So I kind of need the down payment on that for right now to stay focused. So, but I do keep in touch with the people that I met last year, and I got most definitely I would dream about one, but if I can make something happen between now and then, most definitely I will be there.
I love that. Well, I'll leave it with this. There was a post in Sub 2 yesterday or the day before, and someone said something like, you don't need to go to Squad Up to do business. That's absolutely true. But what I will tell you is that these sort of opportunities, these networking opportunities, especially within the Sub 2 Gator top tier TC communities, there's something different about it, right? We're all a massive family, and it's great to see people that we've built relationships with. So it's not just about business. Sometimes it is, but it's also about building relationships with people and just connecting. So I encourage everyone to go to those types of meetups, connect with people. Three of you guys, thank you guys so much for attending today. It's great to see you guys.
Thank you guys. Appreciate you. Have a great weekend.
We'll see you guys next time.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.